So before we go on, I'm going to have us do a little improv game, okay? Because I feel like having us stop it, Barbara. You're very good at it. So my first group up is going to be Danny, Rebecca, Barbara, and Mila. And then my second group is going to be Alicia, Patrick, Marshall, and Judith. Okay? So group one and group two, you're experts. You are experts at something. I'm teaching you how to shoot the bull. Okay? And so you're all going to introduce each other. We're going to give you the topic and you're going to bluff us. You're going to bluff us on the topic. So that's Danny, Mila, Barbara, and who else did I say? And Rebecca. The second group is Alicia, Patrick, Marshall, and Judith. So do you understand, Mila? So you're just going to pretend, okay? You're going to pretend that you're an expert at, what show would they be an expert at, you guys? Toys.
A what?
Expert at children's toys. So everybody turn off your camera. Patrick, Alicia, Marshall, me, Judith, turn off your camera. You'll still see. And they'll bring
I don't know how you do that.
Yeah, you just turn off your video. See at the bottom? It'll say video.
If you move your mouse, the thingy will pop up.
Yeah, move your mouse down to the bottom and just, there you go, Judith. Stay online. All right, so we've got 1, 2, wait, Mila, you're on. Mila, you're in this group. Mila, there you go. All right, you're in this group. So you're experts. You are experts at children's toys. One of you will take the lead. You'll introduce the others. You'll be like in a company that makes children's toys. All right? You're making the Mila, you're going to improvise it. You're making it all up, girl. I know you can do it, Mila. All right, so here we go. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're very lucky tonight to have with us a wonderful group of experts who are the experts of children's toys in America. Please give them a warm round of welcome here. Somebody start.
Well, I'll start, of course, because I do believe that children's toys ought to be fun, but also educational. And it's very difficult to merge the two so they'll be appealing to the young ones. What do you say, Danny?
Well, I say fun is more important because the children, they will lose interest in the, if it's too challenging for the child. So although I do agree that there should be some educational value to it, but I think the emphasis should be put on fun.
And Rebecca?
Well, I think it should be like a balance, you know, because every kid needs to have fun, but also needs to have education because it's really important for them to like develop other skills for them. So, but you must do it like in a funny way. What do you think, Mila?
I think that children's toys should be a mix of fun and a bit of education. Like, what I mean by a bit of education is not really a bit of education, but I feel like education and fun should be two separate things, not combined it into one.
So I have a question, and I'm sure other people in our audience have questions. I would like to ask the whole group, including Mila, to me, what are the new toys that you're creating right now that are both educational and fun? Let's start with Mila. Is there a new toy that you're creating right now in your company here?
Yes, it's called the Catapult of Geometry.
Oh, and what is it? Explain it
It's
to
a
us.
catapult that has a simple yet educational way to lever, and it's also fun for kids. It's not harmful. It doesn't have a very high-powered hand, but it's a fun way for a kid to make a contraption. It's a fun way to make a catapult, and it's also educational.
Oh, how interesting. Thank you. And would some of the other members like to speak on this? What other toys you're making?
Oh, yeah, I would love to like explain that I'm working on a ball that it has all the letters of the alphabet. So if you press one of that letters, it just spill out like a song. So that's how the kids start learning all the alphabet.
Oh,
And I think there should be a musical component to the ball. So as it spins, as it rotates, and you're learning the alphabet, you also get entertained by the little songs that are coming out.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Maybe songs about the alphabet.
True.
Danny, could you please sing us one of the songs you guys have created?
A is for apple, and B is for boy, and C is for cat, and D is for dog.
Oh, that's nice. Barbara, perhaps you can take it from there.
E is for everybody. F is not said. Oh, gee. I can't wait to say hello.
Mila, can you take it from there? The song? H.
H is for a very happy. H is for happy. I is very. It
How about J?
J is for a very jolly.
Oh, good. And Rebecca?
You know what's the coolest thing? That we have this ball, it's bilingual. So it also says words in Spanish. So
Ooh,
like, yeah, like K is from koala, L is from la cucaracha, M is for mama, N is for niño, and O is for oso, and like that.
oh, how nice. Do any of the students have questions for these four experts?
Yeah, I want to know. I want to know, what your qualifications are to be making toys.
I was a kid, and I played with toys when I was a kid, and I studied geometry, and so I know how to design them as well.
I also played with toys as a child. Then I became an adult and had a brain, and I put that to use in terms of my creative ability and knowledge of just being.
I spent like 5 years of hard work and studying to develop greater things for kids, because I have younger sisters. So I decided to create things for her.
So do you have any ideas for future inventions or future interests that you may get into?
Mila, do you have an idea for a future invention? Stop the chair.
Well, there was this one invention that I made, like, I don't really, like, it was in, like, first grade, and I was in this after-school program, And it was called E3, and we had, and like there was like a not really like a science fair, but like kind of like an invention fair where like everybody donated like aluminum cans, paper bags, like everything that you can recycle, and we got to make inventions. And I created, it was kind of bad, and I created this it was a cat, because at the time I just really wanted to sculpt a cat, and I'm like, I'll just sculpt a cat. I was like young, I was like, I can sculpt a cat and just like find a purpose for it and call it a day. And so I made a cat out of aluminum cans and like a cardboard box and a paper plate, and it was like a actual like life-size cat, a foot tall. And I decided that it could be an invention one day, that there'd be these cats that if you press down on the tail, it would move elderly ladies around if they needed to get food. Because
That's a great invention, Neela.
I saw this TV show where I was like, that lady seems like she could use a device to move around. She's like, so I kind of got the idea from that.
Oh, that's very clever.
But I do not.
Thank you so much, all of you. We really enjoyed this. We're going to bring up our next group of experts. So bring up your cameras, and the rest of you turn off your cameras, like Danny and Mila, Rebecca. So here's our new invention. So what could they be inventors of, you guys? Hello?
Well, I already have an idea, which came from, well, I guess, out of sad things come good things. Out of COVID with masks, I am going to make a mask for animals, for dogs and cats, for when they go outside and are exposed. I mean, they run to, my dogs run to everybody to say hello as we're walking, and there are people sitting on benches and walking along the same path. And I sometimes think, I think they're pretty much, there are very few animals who get COVID, but I would feel so much better if they had a mask.
Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We have a group here who has created masks for animals, all types of masks, all types of devices for animals. We have Alicia Katz, Judith Etzoken, Marshall Bennett, and Patrick. So Patrick, please introduce your group of inventors and
Yep.
tell us about this.
Nice to meet you, everybody. You know, COVID has hit us all really hard, and most of us, you know, like to wear masks and social distance and all these things. And we had the thought, like my colleague Judith was saying, of how to protect animals. So we've tried to be on the forefront of that. And we have developed masks for your dog, your cat, your birds, you know, and we've kind of gone on from there. You know, I live in California. There are a lot of mountain lions and bears and things that are up in the hills, and we've developed, you know, prototypes for those animals as well to keep them safe. You don't hear about bears getting COVID very much, but you know, we just want to try to protect them. I mean, they're an endangered species as it is.
Well, we need to find a distributor.
You know, I was thinking, you know, I know the president of PetSmart, so we can do a deal with them. And at my institute, we've been testing these masks on the animals. Mm-hmm. And the most difficult part is wrestling them into the mask, especially, you know, a mountain lion, you know, that would be hard. But, you know, we've had a lot of luck with horses because they like to just shove their nose in that feed bag. So there's a big mask and it has, you know, a little breathing mechanism on it. And, you know, it doesn't really impede their ability to smell, but it does protect them. We've had a lot of luck with that. And with the pigs too. The pigs have the little cells. They just get right in there and put them on. But, you know, and we use all of our graduate students to to test that. But we could definitely, I think we should reach out to PetSmart for domestic animals, and maybe we could do something with zoos, you know, make an awareness of that at zoos and get them to all come together.
That is really a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really hadn't thought at this point of zoos, but that's a place where a lot of people don't read the signs about staying back, and they get too close to the animals. So that would be an absolutely great resource for us to
because, you know, when somebody falls in that pit, you know, not only would it protect them from the animals' bad breath, but, you know, it would keep from getting chewed to death. You know, maybe we could put a safety device on the ones at the zoos too, so that.
Yeah,
you know.
Alicia, that's a really great idea.
Mhm.
So
I know Marshall's been working with pack animals and trying to encourage them to social distance. So I think we can talk a little bit about his work in that field.
Oh, yeah, thank you, Patrick. So
Yeah.
I've been, so for the past year, we've been actually working with the Goodall Foundation in various African countries, just because she already has access to a collection of large populations of orangutans and such and gorillas, in which we can actually see how the socialization and domestication process works with mass, and if that actually interferes with, for example, mating, if there were, or the inverse of it, they become belligerent because they see something that they don't recognize. So I think it's, you know, we take for granted when we look at humans that, like, oh, that person's got a mask and they must be friendly and whatnot. But we don't really necessarily understand what the cognitive patterns are of animals when we put something that's made by humans and we apply that on them. And so as Dr. Alicia Cox has, you know, indicated, you know, we're in the prototype phase, and yeah, we want to roll it out into zoos because it's more of a controlled environment. While we still collaborate with the Goodall Foundation, in a zoo it's isolated, and we can actually monitor and control what's happening. And so hopefully through this prototype phase, which will, you know, last for another few months, we'll move into developing a very solid prototype that we can present to VCs and angel fund angels.
Yeah. So we need to decide who is going to write our business plan.
I think it should be Patrick, because he's the writer. But
Sure.
Business plans. Are you an experienced business plan writer?
I had several businesses when I was a child. I did lemonade stand and your basic garden variety business of that kind.
And you wrote your own plan.
Yeah, I did. I did devise my own plan and measurements of the sugar and lemons and pricing. Pretty good at. So I feel like I could probably give this a shot.
I think you'd be great at it.
Yeah.
And we could get a grant, I'm sure, when you inject some of your, expertise into that.
Sure.
So I would like to entertain the idea of a professional business plan writer, because they know how to raise capital, and that's why we're writing our business plan. And so we want to make sure that it has all the sentences, the ideas, and the things that excite people who give money to new projects, to new businesses.
Well,
I think that's great.
I think we should have lots of photos of the animals in there, some with the mask.
I would like to ask this organization a question. I love the fact that Judith has you all starting a new business.
She sounds like she knows what she's talking about.
She does.
Yeah.
So
it's actually a pretty good idea, Judith. In LA? Are you kidding me?
Oh, I know. And the way people are with their animals, with their cats and dogs, to the beauty salons and the stuff that we all do.
Well, I wanted to ask you guys a question, because I recently heard that there was a therapist out there who could talk to animals and actually heard the animals talk back to her.
Yes.
And I heard that this company that you guys are starting has brought on a therapist that does talk to your animals. And I wondered, what were some of the things that the animals said to you?
Well, you know,
about the
Well,
project?
I can only speak for myself because I know that my cohorts also have animals that they may have had analyzed. But when Bella was about 3 or 4 years old, I did take her to a dog analyst, and she went really for I think about 3 or 4 months, and her behavior improved. She would sit and listen to the animal behaviorist talk, and there would be some kind of doggy hypnotism, and it was a very incredible project. I learned that the dogs in particular are very close to humans, and also not only due to their intelligence, but their ability to feel. They can feel emotions that people have. And sometimes they react with no, my Lola, I was sitting on the floor and I was thinking, I was meditating, and I thought about my mother who had passed away. And I felt the tears coming down my face. And all of a sudden I felt this lick, 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 lick. And that was Lola licking the tears on my face. Now, how
Oh.
did she know? How did she know?
Any of you else have had any communication with your pets?
yeah, I hired a dog psychic. I met in a women's networking group up here in Davis, and she talked to the dogs. And, you know, the predominant thing that dogs want to tell you is that they don't like their food, and they wish you would give them more human food, more hamburgers and more raw beef. And right where they're talking, they're like, woo, 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 and then it's like, squirrel, squirrel. You know, they're very easily distracted, and it's very hard to maintain that, you know, that connection with them, because they just go whoop. You know, they hear something, whoop, they see a bug on the floor, and
Yeah.
you know, but they do have real feelings, but very strong feelings about their food. That's really their primary message for their owners, is they love them.
I love your imitation of dogs. I love it. Oh, it's wonderful. It's wonderful.
So that's what I say, you know, better food and some masks, and we'll all be better off.
Mhm. And what
Well,
about
thank
bottled
you.
water only?
Ah, yes, bottled water. Well, thank you so much for all of us who have animals. You've been very interesting. And let's all turn our cameras back on.